Hello, thank you for joining us today. Our panel discussion today is, what does self-worth mean to you? And we have a panel of experts who absolutely have some unique takes on this very specific topic. So joining me today, I've got Evgenia Salimova, who is a self-empowerment coach. Thank you so much for joining us today. Judith Rosenbauer, actress, presenter, and also wanting to share the power of our well-being to the world and our wellness. And Sarita Sharma, aesthetic practitioner, and also you are absolutely committed to the idea of women understanding their self-worth. So first of all, thank you, all of you, for joining us today.
Thank you.
Sarita,
Thank you for having us.
I thought I'd start with you. What does self-worth mean to you in your line of work?
I think self-worth really means how you perceive and value yourself, and I think it's a deep sense of worthiness, significance and confidence that you feel. And I run a skin clinic helping people who feel not so confident or have some self-esteem issues, whether it's a skin imperfection or age changes that have occurred in their face. And my role is to help improve that self-worth. So I do it so that they feel good physically as well as emotionally. So it's not just about them looking good, it's about how they feel inside.
So what's interesting is obviously you all have your own unique take on it, and with your work, it may seem like you're working from the outside in, if you like, but clearly it does go deeper than that.
Much deeper.
And Judith, with your work obviously on stage, in front of the camera, you have to have your own intrinsic sense of self-worth to be able to perform as you do.
For me, self-worth is synonymous with self-love. And that's something I think we work on all during our lives. It's not about comparing myself with other people and what society says I should be. You know, that's what we're taught when we're born. And I think we go through life trying to break that down, trying to I don't want to be a copy of my mother or my parents. I want to let that go and just be myself. And society hasn't let us do that much. So I think it's a work in progress all the time. But it's very much about self-love, and I don't have to do what that person does, think how that person does. I think we can observe how other people handle situations, but we don't have to do what everybody else does.
And would you agree with that, Evgenia?
Oh, absolutely. And as a self-worth mastery coach, actually, I believe that the self-worth is a deeply rooted feeling that we are valuable and worthy of love, of respect, of kindness at any moment of our life. It's just for who we are and not for what we do.
What's interesting is obviously this is something that you all clearly feel passionate about, and yet you're coming at it from different perspectives, different parts of the world, different age groups. I'd be really interested to hear where you started understanding that I need to take a look at where my self-worth comes from. I'll start with you, Evgenia.
Oh, well, I think it was a journey of my life, actually. And since I remember myself, I was someone who was constantly hiding behind, never putting myself forward, never talking about what I can do or what I've done already. Never seen my value not in my relationship, nor in my work. And actually the moment I started my MBA, and I was already 30 years old, and this is a program where usually we have to exchange our opinions, be more in a leadership position, and I realized that I was not able even to raise my hand and share my opinion with people. And I was already in a leadership position for 7 years in the group of the restaurants. I had 300 people on my team, like 20 restaurants to manage, and I was absolutely not able to put myself forward and to express my thoughts, my feelings, my desires and my opinions.
So even though to the outside world you look like you're very successful, inside you're not feeling it.
Absolutely.
And how about you, Judith?
I think that's most of us.
Yeah. I'm definitely nodding along.
You know, we've got this from our generation, our lineage, and then society comes with their version of how you should be. So I was kind of belligerent, sort of, I'm going to do it anyway, because society told me other things, what I was capable of. But I've been working with a man for the last 5 years. It's called quantum physics, and it's about who we are. And we are wonderful entities, and we didn't come here to suffer. We didn't come here to be in lack or to be controlled. And this has really opened up a new way of living for me, so that I can be relaxed with myself and I can do the things I want without having to push, because I was always, okay, you know.
That's interesting, isn't it? Because that's how we're trained to be, that success comes through hard work and pushing and dominating. I mean, clearly you need to work hard, but it doesn't need to be hard necessarily.
Yes. Yes, you have to put in the work, but I was because I was always, society always told me, no, that's not for you. And so I was always pushing. And it takes a lot of energy to push all the time.
Always.
And I'm not the youngest.
I'm
the oldest person here.
And Sarita, did you have a defining moment where you thought, actually, I'm aware of my self-worth, or I need to shift it? And then I'd be interested hearing from all of you after Sarita in terms of when we decided to help others get to that place.
Yeah, I think my self-worth, I had a good sense of self-worth when I was a child.
Yes.
But then as you go through life's experiences, there you face challenges, etc., and it kind of helps to redefine that poignant moment for you.
Yeah.
And I've always been a believer that you can never stop growing. You can never be that better version of yourself. And so actually it was when I got married that my partner and I were on the same trajectory, that we wanted to personally as well as professionally develop ourselves. And so I went on to lots of personal development programs, etc., and I just had this desire and passion for it. I just loved it. It was the right environment, and I thought, the world is my oyster. You can never stop growing. It's limitless. And then when I was practicing as a dentist and helping people with their smiles and their oral care, it was a case of, well, I'm actually making a difference here, and so what else can I do? Which is what led me on to my skin journey. And then actually my self-worth just keeps redefining, I'd say every day, every week, every month, because it shifts, because you want to just be an even better of a version of yourself. And that's what I love helping people be and do.
So obviously the key is in the title, really, with the word self. It all starts with how we feel about ourselves. Just be interested to hear what you do in terms of with your work. What little tools and tips do you give the people that you work with in terms of improving their self-worth?
Well, firstly, I always tell them how beautiful they are. Whenever they come to see me, there's nothing wrong with them. I never give them a mirror to say, oh, well, let me say this. I always ask permission first, because they ask me, oh, I want your opinion. What can you do and how can it help me? So having permission to be able to say, right, well, this is what I can see, this is what I know anatomically and scientifically is going on, but really it's about, what do you want? It's not about what I want and what I can do, it's about how you feel and what will enhance that feeling and that self-worth for you, what will give you that extra confidence. And so I like to direct it that way, so my communication is very clear, very transparent with how I give my message with honesty. If there are certain things that people come with the perception that, oh, I need this and this because their friend has had it or they've seen it in the media, for example, but I don't think it's going to look natural for them, it's not suited to their facial profile, I will say no.
Right.
And I'll give them that opinion and that honest advice based on why.
Yes.
And then I'll also find out what their why is, so that I can dig deeper to find out. And actually people who come to see me are like my friends. I love what I do, because I don't just see that person as a face or a job or my skills that I want to impart on them. I see them as a whole. And so I want to know about their life, etc., and what, how I can help them.
And Judith, you're nodding along to that. I suppose is the why a real important word when it comes to discovering someone's self-worth, and tips you can give them to help them develop that?
Well, I thought
Sarita,
you said something very significant. She tells people they are beautiful. And I think that, a child that's been told it's not beautiful, that sticks with them for the rest of their life. My mother was one of 3 girls, and she was the one my grandmother, her mother, depended upon. And she told her she was her ugly duckling. And she wasn't ugly at all. She was a very attractive woman. But that stuck with her, and that cripples you. And so I think it's a lot. I think parents, and I'm a parent myself, I have 2 children, 4 grandchildren, but I think parents do a lot of harm.
So what do you do in your work to unpack that, just very quickly?
Well, I've been working on with this man for 5 years, and it's about that I'm good enough as I am.
Wonderful.
And I'm observing, I don't need to prove anything, and I'm observing myself, what I'm doing, when I'm doing it, and how I'm doing it, and I'm not comparing myself to other people. And especially as women, we have been taught to compare. You know, you just look at another woman and you...
Instant.
Instant.
And
it's a judgmental thing, you know.
100%. And finally, Evgenia, what tips do you give to the people that you work with?
Well, it's a whole approach that I use in my work, right? And self-worth for me is based on 4 main pillars, and they are love, deserving, trust, and acceptance. And so I teach my clients to really embrace and enhance this feeling of self-love, of self-trust, of self-acceptance, and deserving. And through that, we shift our energy, because this is the energy of abundance. This is the energy of love consciousness. This is what is awakened at that moment. And this is where the big shift happens. So we live from the place of love and not from the place of fear from that moment.
Wonderful.
And become resilient to shame, guilt, critiques.
And all the things that destroy our self-worth.
That prevents us from going, growing, trying, experiencing life.
Wonderful. Thank you so much. I want to take
pleasure.
you all home with me. I think we could all do with a little bit of building in our self-worth. Thank you so much, ladies. Thank you for joining me.
Thank you.